So one day Anglo wasn't a literal monster, he was a fish, a football fish everyone was the star of, Anglo. But his name wasn't Anglo, he was named Football, the football fish, but till they released something popular, more popular than Anglo you. Went down very, very deep and saw a vent, so Anglo went inside it and it was shutting down forever. So Anglo decided that he would become rich, so we met a scientist and then he turned him into a human and he turned the abandoned place into a house, a very, very rich house. But till one day something strange happened. He went into an aquarium and saw a scientist. He said, "Come on, Anglo, I'm going to show you something." And then he went in. The employees ran off because they heard loud sounds, and then Anglo became this monster called Anglo. The scientist named the thing Anglo, so then he teleported Anglo. And then he fell into the water, which caused the Blabbit to meet Anglo. But something strange happened. He decided to become a villain and teleport him to Wublin Island, and then he went back to Water Island and everyone was proud of him. I don't know why, but then Anglo got teleported to Mythical Island, and that's the backstory of Anglo.
So hi-hey, I wasn't a literal monster. Before he came hi-hey, he was a show performer. He was a jester. The name of the story was The Queen and the Jester. But then all of a sudden something got into him that wasn't right. His eyes became red and destroying the show. And then he did a funny dance, and then he was fired. His eyes became red again, and he shouted out, hi-hey, and then he was kicked out of the place, and then hi-hey, he was poor. And then he saw a blimp that had a scientist in it, and then he landed right next to hi-hey, and then he said, "Come on, do you want to become rich like Anglo?" Hi-hey said, "Who's Anglo?" And then hi-hey, his eyes turned red, and then he made a circus sound. The scientist said, "I'll meet you in an hour," and hi-hey pulled multiple pranks on the scientist. And then the scientist said, "That's it, I will put you in this chair," and then strapped him in. And then he gave him a jester hat, and then turned him into an Earth Island mythical. The scientist named this thing called hi-hey, and then got on a boat, and then landed on top of the Earth Islands, which caused hi-hey to meet Hula. And then the person who made the game tried to kill hi-hey, which caused it to make epic humbug, and then got teleported to Mythical Island. And that's the backstory of hi-hey. So Churable wasn't a literal monster, he was a student always sleeping in class. But since Churable was sleeping a lot in school, he got expelled, so, and his parents were mad about this situation over 5 days. And then he moved out of his parents' house, so Churable grew up and has been a babysitter, which could take care of all the babies. And after 12 years he got fired because he was sleeping a lot. And the babies made a giant mess. Because he was sleeping well, he did deserve it, but doesn't mean he didn't have to like it. But all of a sudden, when he went outside angry, all the birds came to him, at least 3 birds. There was a yellow one, a pink one, and a blue one. So after 2 years of them being their pets, Trouble got hired as a bird carrier. But since he slept a lot, the birds decide to sleep with him. But then a scientist wakes Churable up and says, "Wake up, I want you to come with me. You like sleeping a lot, right?" Churable responded yes, and then he stuck a harp and 3 birds on the harp, and then turned him into a fire oasis mythical. So he named this monster called Churable. So then he got teleported to Fire Oasis, which caused him to sleep in the castle, and the 3 birds to meet Gobbledygore. So then all of a sudden he got teleported to Mythical Island when he woke up, and then he said hi to all of his friends, and that's the backstory of Churable.